Welcome to another episode of the SoleSavy podcast. My name is Anna Bediones, also known as A to the Bed, and today I am joined by Vince Garcia, also known as Vince The Barber. Vince started cutting hair here in Toronto and is now the owner of Gray Matter in Los Angeles, California. Don't get it twisted though, it's not just any barbershop, it's the shop, as in LeBron James' HBO The Shop. Vince is also the go-to guy for many of our favorite ballers and celebrities like Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, Lonzo Ball, and the list goes on and on and on. Vince, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, Anna? Thanks for having me.
Okay, so first and foremost, SoleSavy is a sneaker community. So of course I have to ask, what do you have on your feet today?
To be honest, I just got Crocs on right now. I'm keeping it cozy. I'm at the house, so I'm just chilling. I'll show you guys. Got my little gibbets on there too.
Are you a big Crocs guy?
I mean, my kids, so that my boys got me into them. So I mean, they're cozy for the house. So
okay, well, I guess on that note, when you're cutting hair, what is like your go-to sneaker?
For the longest time, they're the Jordan 1s. Like, I love the ones. They're like, I feel like they're the most comfortable Jordans. Out of all my J's, like I've been collecting for so long, and then it hit a point where I don't know if it's like some sentimental value, but I just love the ones. So it's like I keep all of the ones I've ever owned. But as far as cutting, I stick with the ones. And recently I've been wearing the shit out of my Dunks. So all these Dunks and SBs that are coming out, those are kind of like my go-tos right now.
What is the biggest flex that you've seen come into your shop?
The Red Octobers I've seen the Dior ones. And it's surprising because you're like, dude, you're wearing them in a barbershop, meaning there's gonna be hair that's gonna, get on them. But these are guys that just, they buy them to rock. They don't even, they don't buy them to resell or whatnot. But I've seen a lot of heat come in and out of the shop for sure. Especially our shop. We get a lot of guys that are, tastemakers of the city, celebrities, influencers, especially in LA. So these guys come to the shop to flex for sure.
Would you ever let any of your guys in your shop cut in Crocs?
No, they've asked. They've definitely asked, like, yo, can I come and wear these? I was like, nah. Like, our clientele kind of knows us for like having heat on our feet, you know what I mean? So a lot of my guys now in the shop are a lot, younger guys, so they're well into the fashion game, and a lot of them are hype beasts as well. So I'm even surprised sometimes as to what shoes they come working in. So it's cool.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. We'd love to hear your journey about how you started from being a local barber to the go-to for some of the biggest names in the industry.
I mean, my first shot at even a celebrity NBA pro whatnot in Toronto was Chris Bosh. And so how I got that gig was, one of my best friends, Will, aka Photo Will, that everyone knows in the city. He had to shoot him for, I want to say like an interview or a photo shoot, something. And so he had asked Bosh if, he had a barber, and he didn't, I guess, at the time. So he brought me along, I lined him up. And then after that, I got called like a few days later. He was like, yo, can you line me up before the game? And I'm like, yeah. And then from there, it was like, yeah, you want to come to the game? I was like, shit, all right. And so this was like my first taste of like cutting an athlete. And so the perks that come with it, you get to go to games for free, courtside, and like you meet all these other people. So like that kind of opened up a whole other opportunity for like me as a barber that I've never, experienced before. So I thought about it like, damn, I want to do more of this, and not just cut athletes, but cut like actors and rap artists and musicians and all that. So I figured LA is the place for all that. Like, obviously everyone asked me now, like, why don't you just move to New York? Or like, it's too much like Toronto. It's funny, when Bosh got traded to Miami, that's when I moved out here. And so when I told him I was making the move, I was like, yeah, let all your NBA homies know I'm in LA. And so, he told a couple of his guys. And obviously my biggest thing was like, oh, if I'm going to LA, I gotta cut Kobe. Or I just gotta cut a Laker. And so, what I did was, again, just network with people who had the connects or the relationships with anyone that played for the Lakers. I didn't care who it was. It's just, I told myself, if I get my foot in the door, I'll eventually get to who I want to get to. And so like one of the first Lakers I cut were like the rookies. It was like Devin Ebanks and Derek Character. From them, I then got to Meta, and then I was cutting Meta for the longest time. And then, as you know, like as the years going on, the Lakers switched up their team so many times. So I went from like Meta to then Dwight, and then it was that era when it was like Jeremy Lin, Carlos Boozer, like at that team, I pretty much cut down near everyone except Kobe. Then I've had moments with Kobe where he has his own barber. He's always had the same barber ever since. So I'd had moments where I'm cutting up like Boozer one time and he's getting cut and we're just talking about life and everything like that. And that's like moments that I would never forget. I got a chance to get a picture with him because obviously, there's a time and place for that, but it's just memories like that where I would always, I'll never forget. So there's even times where he gets to the facility super early. And at that time, I would always cut half the team in the morning before practice, chill, watch practice, and cut the rest of the team after. So sometimes I would beat Kobe there and he'll see me and be like, damn, B, you beat me this morning. So like even just that interaction with him was just like everything to me because growing up, again, we're all Kobe fans. So that definitely, I'll never forget that.
When you got that first shot with a Laker, did you feel pressure to execute it perfectly, kind of like it was a Game 7 type of situation?
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely, my foot in the door my first time at the facility was like, damn, I'm actually here. I got to just see all the players, all the coaches. Like at one point I was cutting some of the coaches too. And like just being recognized as like, oh damn, that's Vince, that's the barber. Like he cuts the team. And that to me was like everything, having the ability to just chill and watch them practice and, see how everything goes down behind the scenes was like a blessing, So like every time I stepped foot in there, I was like, all right, I gotta make sure I'm like top notch and everything's on point, because obviously one bad haircut could just fuck up my whole shit.
You talk about networking a lot and, you met a lot of celebrities along the way. How did you get involved with the shop?
Omar Johnson, right? He used to work with Beats. Well, anyway, he's pretty well known like in the industry. And so I was cutting him up for a while and then he plugged me with Mav. So I was cutting Mav for the longest time, even before Bron did the whole decision thing. Like I was cutting him at that time. And so I guess when they were still kind of talking about creating a show, Omar again was part of the creation of that. We first filmed the first pilot actually in Toronto for All-Star Weekend. And so that was our first ever time filming the shop. And then from that point on, we were literally filming once a year, every All-Star Weekend. And then it finally got picked up by HBO. And then once that happened, we were pretty much signed on as like the official barbers for the show. So it's me, Nick, who's LeBron's barber. I've known him for years. And then Brownie, he's from the Bay Area. He actually cuts Draymond. And so us three are like the top barbers, well, pretty much the only barbers for that show. Yeah, just being affiliated with that. And now, we're an Emmy award-winning show. It's definitely a blessing, and being in the same room with all of these legends is dope.
First of all, congratulations on the Emmy again. Did you get one too?
No. I wish. I mean, you just got a pat on the back.
There's an unwritten special bond between a client and a barber. Why is that?
I think with guys, it's like, it's so easy to just talk about life and just anything in general with other guys, especially if it's someone you trust. And I feel like as a barber, again, we're not just barbers, we're like therapists. Like I've heard stories that like I never thought I would hear, coming from them. And it's like, even if they're a brand new client, I mean, with women too, you go to like salons and like it's just all talking and gossip and, but I think with men, it's kind of the same thing. Like the barbershop is like a home away from home for some people.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. And there's this ongoing universal debate about loyalty to your barber. Is it okay for a guy or anyone to go to another barber if their go-to barber's on vacation?
No, for sure. It happened to me many times, and then sometimes my clients are like, yo man, I just had to because you were in town. I'm just like, no, it's all good, like it happens. But what I tell a lot of my clients too is that like, I built relationships with barbers all over the world for kind of that purpose, is to, wherever my clients are at, like, like Luda, for example, will hit me up like, yo bro, I'm heading to Paris, like, you know anyone out there? I'm just like, yeah, I got barbers in Paris and London, like anywhere you go, I have some of the top guys that, I built relationships with that could take care of you. And I feel like that goes even a longer way, because regardless of whether you're taking care of the client or not, you're still making sure they're taken care of with someone you trust.
What is the craziest request you've ever gotten from a celebrity? You can leave them anonymous if you want.
Meta called me and they were playing the Clippers, and it's a Clipper home game. I didn't know how strict Clipper, Lakers, Staples Center thing was until this moment. And so he was like, bro, can you pull up to Staples Center? I'm like, yeah, what time? He's like, the game's at 7. He's like, hey, you pull up at like 5:45. I'm like, don't you have to warm up? Like, you know? And he was just like, just pull up. I'm like, all right. So I go to the tunnel where all the players enter. I'm like, yo, they won't let me in. And he's like, why? He's like, because they said this is a Clipper event and you're here for a Laker. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So he comes out and he's like, yo, just come. Don't worry about it. And it was just such a, like, it was a lot of back and forth with security and like the Clippers event people. And it was just like a whole mess where I ended up cutting him, but it was just like, it went through so much shit just to give him a haircut right before the game. And like, I don't even think he got to warm up. Most simplest cut ever, but he always looked out. He stayed loyal no matter what, but it would be at, again, like the most outrageous places and time. The one time he called me to go to the SLS, the hotel, and we were at the bar and I'm like, all right, like, where do you want to get cut? Like, what room are you in? And he's like, no, just do it right here at the bar. I'm like, bro, at the bar? And then he's like, no, forget it, let's just go to the restroom. And we did it in the restroom. All these people were coming in and out, like recording. And he's like, yeah, record me, get my haircut. Like, my barber's here. And I'm just like, dude, such a crazy dude, but he's like the most loving dude ever. Like, super loyal. He looks out for his people, you know? So I've had crazy moments with him for sure.
So I know you started with designs back in the day, back when you were cutting out of your Mississauga apartment. We're kind of going back in that pattern right now. Drake is high key trying to bring it back with a little heart in his lineup. Mm-hmm. Is this movement coming back, or do we leave this trend in the past?
For example, Drake, like that, I knew like once J-Mac did that part, I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, this is like a whole new trend as far as like the Nas part that everyone still kind of does, you know, like the half moon and all that. So a lot of people are posting it, asking for it. I necessarily haven't done one yet, but some of my barbers have done it in the shop. And it's, again, if it's someone as big as Drake or anyone else that's, you know, a big name in the industry, everyone's gonna hop on it.
I know you also get blessed quite a bit. I've seen a little bit on your story. Have any of your clients ever blessed you with like some fire sneakers?
Well, like NBA clients or just clients in general?
I feel like I see you get undefeateds a lot, like almost every undefeated drop.
Yeah, so my homie, I met him when I first moved out here, and he used to run the Silver Lake store, and now he's more higher up now. He's been my plug with them ever since, so he always looks out. But again, that's all just based off of like building relationships and meeting people, and like, you take care of me, I take care of you type of thing. If anything, it's like the plug to get, like, I'll still pay for them, but it's like I don't have to do the raffle, or if I don't have to, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, like those Union 4s that are about to drop, I just grabbed those this morning. Okay,
my last question, who do you think has the best cut in the NBA?
Devin Booker. I literally just started cutting him right after the bubble. I've never met him before that. He just hit me up. I think he got my number from Kuz, or I don't know who he got it from, but yeah, he hit me up and he was like, yeah, do you think you could give me a cut today? I was like, yeah. He was staying out here obviously in the off season, and literally I would see him once a week. And then it came like the season, like for them pretty much about to train for the season, and I fly out there once a week to take care of him ever since November. He's super cool, super humble. My prediction is it was them in Brooklyn, but with Kyrie and Harden out, I don't know. We'll see. It's tough because I got clients on both teams, and you know, because like Mike and Donovan are also my clients, so it's like if they go head to head, and Jordan Clarkson too, so it's like everyone's like, who are you gonna go for? I was like, I'm gonna just hope for Game 7, and you know, whoever wins out of that, just, you know, it's meant to be for them.
All right, Vince, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with us. If we want to find you, it's at Vince The Barber on Instagram, Gray Matter in LA, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.